Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Hello and welcome to SOVL. SOVL is a turn-based strategy game, roguelike, Warhammer Fantasy Battle-esque simulator. It's a hell of a mouthful, but it's all key information. You have two different armies that face one another, so you imagine your Renaissance or medieval style forces with swordsmen, archers, cavalry. But then there's also fantasy elements cut in between, so wizards and giant monsters and things like that. If you're familiar with the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles tabletop or even the new Old World game, this will be immediately familiar. If not, you'll pick it up very quickly. I'll explain the kind of base mechanics in the beginning and it will be very clear. As you've seen from the title and thumbnail, we'll be playing through as the Dead Nation's Vampire Knight. So unlike the previous one we did, for those who are coming over, that was predominantly ranged, we were skirmishing a lot. This one will be dedicated to all melee. We'll be using melee only, so a nice change of pace. We'll be playing on the end, so we're going to go for the maximum difficulty. That's how we're going to be playing things. Okay, we come to a really important decision, our starting two units. Now our Vampire Knight starts with a unit of Skeleton Knights, which is fantastic. They're heavy cavalry, they're quite quick, and they're rather durable, so we have a very potent starting melee unit. So as for our selection, we're not taking the bowmen, as per we're only engaging in glorious melee, so either the warriors or the bats, and between the two I would much rather take the bats. They're highly manoeuvrable, they're somewhat competent in a fight, they'll get much stronger as we go along, and they're only 2 wounds, so they're pretty fragile, so as long as you're careful with them, having two squads of them is also extraordinarily useful for turn-based initiative manipulation, which I'll explain shortly. As for our second unit, again we can have another bat, White Guard, or no-brainer, Dread Knight, so our elite heavy cavalry, even better than our Skeleton Knights. That's going to be our army. Act 1 is the campaign map, so we'll be playing through this. Now our objective is to get from left to right. We're going to move through these stopping points and reach the Act 1 boss, and then which will fight us into Act 2. So I'll quickly go over what each of these are. A battle is exactly what you think. Your army fights an enemy army in exchange for gold and experience for your troops. Random events are these question mark dice. Impossible to describe what they are in advance. They're any one of 100 things, but you may encounter mercenaries to purchase, a random monster to slay, a tomb to plunder treasure, stuff like that. So we'll go through a couple of these throughout the campaign for a bit of spice. These swords down are elite battles, which are standard battles, harder in exchange for more gold. Why do you want gold? Well, you can spend them in these armories, and we'll see our shops where you can buy new units and upgrade the ones you already have. And last but not least are the campsites. So in lieu of a battle, you can go to a campsite where there's no enemy army, rather everyone in your army takes a round of healing and then can choose between experience or a second round of healing. Typically you want to avoid these if possible. Justification being is that if you're doing well, you don't particularly have any need for healing, so you just want to take as much gold as possible. Now having a look, we want to try to get to here while taking maximum battles, generating XP and gold. So how do we do that? Well, we can take 3 if we come up here. That's 2 and that's 2. And so we will have to go down, so we'll get 1 random event, and then I suppose the maximum is this what you have 2. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it comes there. Can we do any better? Where you can go here, you can go 1, 2, and you can have 3, 4, 5, so less battles but 2 elites. As you get more experience because the campsites, obviously we'll be healing a lot, so you'll lose the potential positives of whatever the random events could be. Random events could be amazing or they could be pretty pants. You can't really tell in advance. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battles, which is less than 6, but you net more gold because of the. So you net more experience because of the campsites. You can take 1 each, and you net more gold because of the elite battles. So bizarrely, I think we'll actually head up here and go to these campsites because there's no other way to improve that. If we go 3 here, 4, you have to take the random event, and if you go up or down, it's either 2 random events or 1. Yeah, that's just worse. I don't want to avoid the excess of random events. So we're actually going to go up the top, and we're going to go into this battle. Have a look at your army. Here's our army. We've got 2 units of 3 Fellbats, Vampire Knight and accompanying Skeleton Knights, Seraphina, Blood Shadow, and the Dread Knights, Forsaken Regiments, are super heavy cavalry. Right, let's rock into the first battle. It's Goblin Raiders. So in the first battle I'll explain some of the base mechanics and then I won't repeat them. Obviously if you're a veteran here, this will be very familiar to you. It's only for the first battle, we'll get through it quite quickly. Now, almost certainly with the Goblin Raiders will be facing some sort of ranged unit, maybe a Goblin Shortbow Tuck, so I want to get my ultra fast units onto them in one turn. So what I'm going to do, ordinarily you'd put your fastest thing on the flank like this to try and get around, but if they're here, that's a bit pointless because you're going to end up smacking into their face. So I'm actually going to put a unit of bats in the centre, so if they're here or here I can get them to the side. I'm going to put the cavalry more on the flanks so they can run over and start hitting things, so maybe like this to give myself the most options. Interesting, it's actually fine. Goblin Wolf Riders instead, perfectly manageable. So again, I can easily flank them. Now our Vampire Knight, no, Eternal, so we rolled a dice each, they had a higher number, so they get to go first, they move a unit, then I move a unit, then them, then me, then them, then me, etc, etc, until we run out. That's the end of the phase. Now if you hover over an enemy unit, you can see their facings. They have a front, 2 flanks and a rear. What you're desperate to do is get, we're going to be using melee, so we're going to be doing a lot of positional to get flank and rear charges. So can we get all the way over there? Well, probably not. However, the Vampire Knight Seraphina here has a crucial ability, or rather 2, she got an upgrade. She can either throw some magic damage output at the enemy and shoot them, or much more importantly for us, the Unholy Vigor spell. Increase the move speed of a targeted reanimated unit, undead unit, so not bats, but these two are undead, and improve their movement by 3. So they're only movement 14, which is pretty bad for cavalry. Usually cavalry are faster, but it's because they're reanimated and have heavy armor, so they're getting slowed down. So let's speed ourselves up a lot. Now the 2 most crucial keys you'll be using throughout the campaign are the X key and the C key. If you hold the X key, you can see your charge radius. So anything in this blue zone at the end of the combat phase, at the start of the next charge phase, you can declare a charge against. Simultaneously, if you hold the C key, you can see the enemy's charge radius. So if you're in this blue zone, or this one and this one, they'll be able to charge you. So if you don't want to be hit by them, get out of that. So we're going to come over here, we're going to move like so. I'm going to try and escape there, so we don't quite manage it. Can I get far enough to get out here? Yes, I can. So I can't get the charge on them this turn, but I can get to here and get to safety. So I'm going to take this because next turn I can probably outposition them. I'll leave that there. These are going to come forward. They're very easy to deal with, so they're not going to get anywhere near us with their zones. Rather, we're going to move our Dread Knights into their side. Yeah, let me make sure. I'm avoiding this terrain because if you step into difficult terrain, it halves your movement. So obviously you're moving through thick wooded areas, you get slowed down terribly. So don't step into that unless you absolutely have to. Rather, we're just going to navigate around here. Yes, we can reach them. We can clearly see them, and we can draw. You have to be able to draw a straight line from the center of your unit to the center of the facing that you're charging. So there to there without anything interrupting you. Clearly nothing in the way, so we're clear. All conditions of the charge have been met. And now these two, well, we're not going to face them head on, so I'll just put the bats here. What I might do is put the bats extremely close to this Goblin Wolf Rider unit. If I'm lucky, they'll lock onto the bats and turn around and give them my Skeleton Knights a rear charge. Worth a try, they may not fall for it, but worth a go. And these bats are put right in the centre to distract this Goblin mob. So this is the benefit of having 2 bat units. I get to move around a lot after the enemy has already expended all of their moves, so they can't catch me. Here's our charges. You can put these into the front, which is suicidal. The bat will die. I could side charge them, but we might have a better option here, so I'll leave it for a moment. And this one I'll definitely take a flank charge with the Dread Knights into a squishy little Goblin mob. That's an easy win for us. Smash. Okay, they have in fact... So I manipulated the AI there. If you place one of your units closer to them, typically AI melee units will lock onto them and turn to face whatever's closest. So because they've done that, they've made it trivial for me to get a rear charge next turn. And while I'm here, I might as well take a shot with my Shadow Bolt. You get 3 auto hits, so you just get 3 hits, and then I guess I'll explain what this is. So the power of my Shadow Bolt is 4. The defense of the enemy is 3. Whenever you hit an enemy, they get to try and save the damage. So I hit 3 times automatically. Power being superior defense means they're saving a 5+, or the roll of a 5 or 6 succeed. Unlikely because power's better than defense, but they rolled well. They rolled a 5, a 6, and a 3. They took 1 wound. Goblin Wolf Riders have 2 wounds each, so you can see that one of them has been wounded, and everyone else is okay. They're coming forward to menace my poor bats, but I don't have to bother with them because I can easily get this bat unit into their back. And if I wanted to be really mean, what I could do is I could put this bat unit into their side. I'll probably not take this charge, but it's an option. Now, obviously, I've stood directly in the Goblin Wolf Riders' blue zone, their charge area. Oh no! How terrible, they're going to rear charge me. This is not going to be an issue, and I'll show you why next turn. Here we go. So our first combat. Now, a couple of things we need to go over here so when dealing combat you have to first hit the enemy, and then you have to wound the enemy. So to hit them, you compare the skill of the two combatants. So we're skill 4, goblins are skill 3. We have superior skill, so we hit on 3+. Skill versus skill is what determines the hit roll. So 3+ means a roll of 3, 4, 5, or 6 will succeed, only a 1 or 2 fail. It represents our skill being better than theirs. We have a 66% chance, or more often than not, chance of succeeding in hitting them. We have 10 attacks, well that's coming from the number of attacks here, so 2 attacks each. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 guys hitting on 3+. We get 6 hits, and then we're going to get to save, so I'll go over what this is when it stops rolling for a second. Well, they didn't hit us a single time. Lots to cover here, I'll just do that in a moment. Right, so we hit 6 times. The enemy then got to attempt to save. So what happened there? Well, I had power 6 on the charge because I have a very impressive power 5 to start with a great weapon. And then great weapons also add plus an extra power when you charge, so we're up to 6. The enemy's defense, the goblin mob here, had a meager defense of 3. So when power is 3 or more greater than the target's defense, the enemy's save is reduced all the way down to a 6+, or in other words, only the roll of a 6 will save them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all fail. So the 5, 1, 1, 3, 5 all failed. 5 goblins got instantly splattered by us charging into their flank. So they took less 5. The enemy then got to hit us back. One of the other big benefits to charging enemy in the flank is that they can't fight you with all of their guys. Rather, only the 3 guys who were touching us in base contact got to hit back. So they got 3 attacks. They had worse skill than me, so they hit on 4+. On a 2, 2, 3, they got no hits. The goblins did nothing. They got crushed. So as we suspected, the goblin warfighters here have rear charged my bats. Oh no. But because I put the vampire knights behind them, I can intercept them. One of the other benefits to either flanking or rear charging enemy is it counts as an intercept, which means any charges that the enemy are attempting to execute are cancelled. You cannot complete a charge when you're being flanked or rear engaged, so they're stuck there. My bats are safe. This unit is broken, so we can ignore them for now. Rather, I'm going to put this unit of bats into their rear, and I'll put the dread knights into their side again. Keep hammering through. These bats can just stand here. There's no need to engage that head on and take a bunch of damage unnecessarily. The bats are hyper-maneuverable and fairly decent at hitting things, but they are fragile. We need to be quite careful with what we engage. So they failed a rally test. They had to try and come back. They have to roll lower than their discipline. They fail, so we're not going anywhere. Fine. Rather, I'll just kind of get you... Annoyingly, I can't turn here, which is a bit annoying. I wanted to turn around to... I can't click through them, so I wanted to turn and face those goblins, but because I'm a... Flying units can move through things, but they can't twist through. So I'd have to do this instead. I think I can still... Yes, I can still see the goblin wolf fighters. I'm doing this just in case they hold in combat. I can then rear charge them, but it's extraordinarily unlikely. And then we had spells from our vampire knight from Seraphina, but there's nothing to use them on, so nothing to do. Back to the combat phase. Right, we've rear charged them. So Seraphina gets 3 attacks with skill 5. So we're still only hitting on 3+. 3 hits, full house, very good. And she's power 5 against defense 3. She's better than, but not 3 or more better than. So the enemy gets to save on a 5+ rather than 6+. So 1, 5 means they pass, so they lose 2. So the injured one dies and another one takes a wound. Our 4 accompanying skeleton knights now attack with 2 attacks each, so 2, 4, 6, 8. With equal skill, skill 3 versus skill 3, so we only hit on a 4+. 4 times perfectly average, and again, superior power to enemy defense. The save on 5s, not at all, lose by a whole lot. When you lose combat, you're forced to take a discipline check. So in this case, they failed because it's impossible to pass. It's your discipline. The break tests here are your discipline minus how much you lost by. So how much you lost by is how many wounds you took minus how many wounds you dealt. They dealt none and took like 7, so they lost terribly. And then if you were flanked or rear charged, that's 1 as well. So they lost by so many, their discipline was reduced to -1, meaning they had to roll -1 or less on 2 dice. Unfortunately, it is not possible to roll negative numbers on 2 dice, so they were guaranteed to run away and flee. So that's that. Back to this goblin mob here. Again, my dread knight smacking them in the side. 4 dead. They're going to hit me back. Hit me 2 times this time. So their power is inferior to defense this time. Power 3 against defense 5, so I save on a 3+. Only the roll of a 1 or 2 will fail. Take 1 wound, but we've got 2 each, so that's great. I'm okay. My 3 bats then chew them at the back. Equal skill, so we hit, but better power. Another 3 goblins die. They'll likely break here, they have to. And with all enemies either dead or broken, combat has concluded. We've won. Perfect, we got through that with no casualties. Why is that important? Well, we'll get to this page. At the end of every fight, you generate a flat sum of gold. All of your units generate 1 experience point, and then if you took any damage, you might get some passive healing, but not much, and you get a choice. You can either rest units or take loot. So rest is you can heal them, so the guys who are full HP will just take loot, so a bit of extra cash. And then this unit of Skeleton Knights started slightly undermanned. That's because of the difficulty we're playing on. I'm going to increase their strength now because they're not quite as consistent as the Dread Knights. They've got lower skill, so I'm going to take the higher number just to increase their strength a bit. So there you know, 5 and 7. When you do this, you can reorient your units somewhat, so you can stretch them. You get more attacks. This is important because only the front rank get their full attack, so 2 attacks each, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Back rank supporters only get 1 additional supporting attack each, so the further you can stretch it out, the better. Unfortunately, cavalry can only stretch to 6. If I could go to 7, I would, but no mind. One Skeleton Knight's going to have to sit back there and cheerlead from the rear. See what this random event is. Beastmaster, you can pick up a beast. I'm not going to do that. I don't particularly want any of the monsters. I'm more focused on normal cavalry, so we'll just leave that on the table. Orc scouts. So more orcs. It was goblins, and now they're goblins' bigger brother. See if they fare any better. They're going first, I would have thought, which is great for me because they're predominantly a melee army, so I don't care about what they can do. Again, I'll probably put these on the side because they don't touch the different terrain, so they can move, which is great. I'll put the bats in the centre for a number of reasons. One is they can flank things, and 2, they don't care at all about difficult terrain. They can fly straight over without being slowed down. You can be there, and then you can be there. They'll have some sort of annoying fast unit on the flanks, I presume. Yes, there's a unit of war riders there, so I can engage them inside. Before they come, they get to there, so again we could check their range there to there. What I'd love to do is get my Vampire Knight here to charge them. What might get in my way is that there's a wood in the way, and if you look at the charge arc here, if I hold the key, you can see into woods, but you can't see beyond them. So currently, because of where they've positioned, I need to get up here and touch these woods to make sure I can charge in, and I currently can't do this. I'm going to send you around here. Eventually you'll get around the back of that Orc Warrior unit. We're just going to start the long flank. Get away from those woods, don't get slowed down. I touched them unnecessarily, it's a bit silly. I think that's better. Good, now that they've moved, I can see what their kind of radius is. Let's see what I can pull off with these Skeleton Knights. So unfortunately I wouldn't be able to charge them here. That's what I was afraid of. So you get to here, and you're being spotted, so you're being seen by them, so they'll intercept me. That's not ideal. So what I'll try and do, I'll use Unholy Vigor on my Knights to speed them up. Extra super speedy Skeleton Knights. Can I get to a position where I'm past all of their vision? Perfect, there you go. So the War Riders cannot see me. Their view ends there. The Orc Warriors can't see me. I can clearly see them because I reached them there, so I can pull off a charge, no interruptions. And there's not really anything for you to do, I'm afraid. Might as well just come around here. I could, in theory, flank charge the War Riders. It's a risk because I've only got 2 wounds each, and they might kill me. More often than not, though, I survive, so you can do a little bit math in your head. So if I charge them, I'm trying to get away with this without taking any casualties, so I take more gold. So they'll only get to fight 2 attacks because there's only 1 border that can touch me. We have equal skill, so 4's to hit, they get exactly 1 hit on average, and then they're power 4 against defense 3, so I'd only save on a 5 up, so I take 0.66666 wounds on average, and I have 2. So more often than not, I should be fine. It just comes down to how well they hit roll. So I think I will take that to make sure they break and die and don't turn my Skeleton Knights. These, however, could just stand here and distract this annoying unit of Orc Warriors. In fact, if I'm clever, what I can do is put this here, and that hopefully should lure them into coming this way, which makes it easier for them to rear charge later. So we can kind of manipulate the position of these warriors. So they're going to charge me, but because again I've got intercept on them, that's going to die. And admittedly, so I'm not entirely in their flank, but I'm majority in flank, and I knew they'd be able to see me, but they can't charge, so there's nothing they can do to stop me from flanking both sides simultaneously. Leave you there for a turn, now positioning you. Well, they come, okay, they just inch forward a bit, that's fine. What I can do is I can use Unholy Vigor on my Dread Knights to make them go even faster. And I'll probably just lure you here, get you into an easier to deal with position. So they'll turn and face you that way. I can't reach it this turn, I have to go around these annoying woods. Well, oh, maybe. The extra movement. So the extra movement for Unholy Vigor is obviously one, great for movement, which makes you faster. It also has the supplementary benefit of increasing your charge rate, because how far you can charge is dictated by what your movement is. So unfortunately this is still a flank charge rather than a rear charge, so I'm just going to stall for a turn. I'm in no rush, they can't do anything. Here we go. Seraphina's attacking the Boar Riders. 2 hits, good start. Equal power to skill, so she does 2 wounds, fantastic. It says he's dead, but he still gets the fighters. There's no initiative in SOVL, so everyone gets their attacks. My bats do an extra wound for a bit of combat res, fine. Unfortunately, I took 2 hits, so I might get unlucky here. Never mind, double saved. Invincible bats, let's go. And then my skeleton knights hack into them, doing nothing. They're hard as nails. They don't hit back at all. Okay, a weird mixed turn, but unless they roll double 1. When a unit breaks and it's surrounded, it doesn't get to run away. Rather, it just dies on the spot. Because there's nowhere for them to run. They got caught and killed. So they're trapped and annihilated. So if you don't want to deal with... If it's a large brick of enemies and you want them gone, that's a very effective way of handling it. Here we go. So we can easily flank this now. And, well, just in case they hold on, I suppose the bat here can recharge them afterwards. But there's not really any use in risking any of my other units. I guess what I could do is fire a shadow bolt into them to try and reduce their numbers. It has a slight chance of decreasing their discipline depending on casualties, but oh well, just for prudence. In go the mighty Dread Knights with their great weapons. Shall now be elite skeletons to death. Congratulations, just skip the phase, we don't care. Here we go. 10 attacks, hitting on 3+ because of our superior skill. 6 hits, and then hitting in 5s because of our superior power. 2 better, not 3, so it saves. And unless they roll double 1, they've broken. All enemies broken, and we've achieved victory. So the 2 bats are usually make the initial battles here quite easy because the AI cannot handle the fact that you've got more units than them. You're always able to outposition them. Also, the fact that obviously our army has got amazing kind of speed is also helping. So we have enough experience on our troops to start leveling them now. So when you get a level, you get a choice of 3. Replenishment is only if you're taking severe damage back. To get back 2 when you press the button anyway, so this is almost never going to be useful. So we either take a wounds or skill. Damage output or wounds. This is an interesting card. So skill means if I come up against anything that's skill 3 and I get up to skill 4, it's easy for me to hit them. The wounds would mean if I take... I'm probably going to take the wounds because I think that they're more better at kind of rear charging and flanking things, so I don't need too much extra damage. But accidentally losing 1 to taking 2 wounds is quite likely, so going up to 3 early on. It's going to net me a lot of gold long term because I'm not going to have to press the heal button, I can just keep pressing gold. The bats here, skill or attack. At this stage I'm definitely going to take the attack. So they go up to 3 attacks each, so that's 9 for the squad now, which is excellent. And then the Dread Knights. You can immediately take a unit size, which is pretty great, or an extra skill. I'm going to take the unit size. We go up to 8. We're not going to be able to benefit from that very early because they get 1 each, but I'll go up to 6 for now. Take gold on everyone else. Very good. So we now have 6 of them, so that's our max cavalry width for maximum damage. I like that very much. Now we have a choice between going up and down. We gamed out, we're going up the harder path to face all of these elites. The good news is after these elites there are, well at least after this one, there's a campsite straight after, so we don't have to bother healing. We can just use all the gold and heal here. So let's see what we can buy at the armory. Right, there's no cavalry, but I'm willing to accept a zombie giant as a melee unit. That seems in the spirit of things, so in you come. And then we've got a choice of upgrades. Some fantastic upgrades for our cavalry here. What I'm going to take as a priority above and beyond anything else is the reanimate spell for Seraphina. So let's select any reanimated unit, heal D3 +1 wounds. That is fantastic for a campaign. We're going to heal so much damage and make ourselves a very, very kind of undead oriented, where the vampire knight is raising the fallen skeleton knights as they die around, or you can't stop them. So that will be pretty much all of our gold, but it's absolutely worth it. Later on we'll pick up the lance and shield upgrades and the banners of swiftness and things for our cavalry, but this is the king of upgrades for us right now. Everybody welcomed the withered monstrosity to the gang. Skill 2, so not very competent, but power 6, defense 6, 8 wounds. So pretty tough. So let's test our newfound giant might against an elite battle. Korgak. We're going first, that's okay. So I'll put you dead center because you just tank things. I would like these probably on the flanks. And then I'll have you on this flank, you in the middle to try and fly around, and I'll have you avoid the woods because you'll get stuck on them. Something like that. Right, we've got a chariot on the side, a big unit of warriors, a war chief and orc brutes, so heavy infantry, and some trolls. I'm going first. They're going to come towards us. They're not really going to reach, so what I'm going to set up a rear charge number this unit by distracting them with the bat. So trolls are pretty quick, so they can go move pretty fast. I'm not going to move too far here. I'm just going to get to there and allow them to position. Okay, so They haven't quite reached us yet, which is good. So next turn, I'll fly the bats in behind them, get them to turn around, and then charge them with the Dread Knights. These will just kind of pointlessly trundle forward. I might be cheeky here and move the giant around this way to get a better flank. You move to there, I can probably fly over you, but I want to see where the warriors move first because it allows me to just skip this for now. There's no reason to do much because it allows me to see what's safe in this zone. Let's go ahead and there's our reanimate spell, Unholy Vigor unit, which I guess could be the zombie giant to move faster so we can get around there quicker. Not going to apply this turn, but crucial thing about Unholy Vigor, it applies the 3 movement until its next combat. So until you charge something in fight, you've got the 3 movement permanently. That didn't used to be the case. It used to be that you got it for 1 turn and that was it. That's obviously been improved massively. So we can easily get to the flank of the chariot this turn. But I'm going to wait a turn because he's going to turn and face me, and then I can easily rear charge him next turn. So we'll just delay once and get an even more beneficial charge. So none this turn. It's purely a positional move. I'm going to outflank them now. They've inched forward. They went first, which is a tad annoying. I wanted them to target something else first. So I'm going to do this. And hopefully draw their ire next turn instead. Just get to there. Don't get too close to touching the unit. Yeah, you've done exactly what you thought we would do. You've failed to catch us, so quick tip. So you get whatever your movement is, it costs you exactly half of it to wheel 180. So as long as I can get to this side with 10 left, I know for a fact I can 180 no problem and get into their rear. They're after my giant, they're never going to catch them, don't worry about it. So you're surely going to turn around to face someone there, and I'll have you start barreling around here to eventually get some nice flanks on these blocks. They're coming for my knights. I could charge this unit immediately by standing here. I probably want to hold off a moment though, because if I do that, this Orc Warrior unit is then subsequently going to charge me, and you cannot flee a reanimated unit. I'm going to have to take every fight that comes my way, so I'm going to be a lot more picky with how you do this. I don't want these trolls to charge me, that'd be quite annoying, so I'm just going to back away, wait for them to reorient and then hit them, and then you can stay there for now. I may as well throw a shadow bolt at something just to be mean about it. Pick on these elite heavy infantry, reduce their damage output. Turn 3. Yeah, we've defeated this chariot for all intents and purposes. Chariots are extremely potent on the charge with their crushing charge ability, power and attacks, but inversely they are atrocious if they don't get the charge. They're basically useless, so this is an easy win. Trolls do exactly what we expect them to do. They turn around, so free and easy win for our Dread Knights. You're still trying to come around here and catch something. I don't know what, mind you, so I'll just ignore you for now. I'll have you come careening over here. The hope is that they step forward far enough to maybe get you into a rear charge. I doubt it. You're probably not going to make it this turn. Yeah, I can't do any better with positioning here. Yeah, okay, still, I could take a side charge with the giant, which is a bit difficult. I don't think they'll survive that, so again, I'll hold out for a turn. How do I want to do this? Well, I could put the bats over here again, distract this unit, causing them to turn and face them. Then the giant could come around here to hit them in the back, and these could hit these in the back. This will also win over here, so I'll have my bats free to help as well. Okay, this is what I'll do. The trolls obviously can't bother us, so just come over here. Completely ignore the trolls line of sight, just stay out of there. So good, you're the, I think, the closest target there now, so you distract them. You step away from these so you don't get hit by those. You are safe from all the arcs, good. Fire another Shadow Bolt. You can't stack Unholy Vigor onto a unit. I can't keep increasing the giant speed to get it even faster. 3 is as much as we can get. Okay, here come our bats. This is the higher number of attacks unit now, so 9, but only skill 3, so hit kind of okay. We do 2 wounds. They can't hit back because we re-arc them and they lose by a bunch, so unless they roll miraculously well, they're definitely going to break and run. Now, more often than not, they just do that again, but I'm willing to just hammer them and make sure they don't come back. You're going to charge them there, but been intercepted, that's pointless. Confirm. They've turned to face the bats, fantastic. I just want to see, I'm not actually going to use them in combat, so let's just use these to continue to hold attention. That'll force this unit to move and reveal where it stays, which is there. So after this combat ends, once this dies and or runs or dies, they'll be free to flank charge them. So I can, if I'm lucky, I can get the giant into their back this turn. I can do. So you can rear charge, and you can well, I suppose yeah, you can take the flank and you can take the rear, and that'll be more than enough to break them. I might lose a bat because they'll get 4 attacks into me. I've only got 2 wounds, 2 hits on average, and then power 4, defense 3, so 2/3, so like 1.333 wounds. I mean, usually I survive, but it's pushing it. So you'll hit that, you'll hit that. At least 1 unit is free to tie that up, so I'm definitely safe to engage this unit in its rear. There's nothing they can do to stop me. And fire an extra round of Shadow Bolt just to be mean about it. No damage. Tough armor on the brutes there, helping them out. Here we go again. Can you do the last few wounds? Better hits this time, killing it. Perfect. Yeah, I'm not a particular fan of chariots, I don't think they're particularly good. Here we go. So we now have 6 Dread Knights, up to 12 attacks with superior skills, so hit on 3+. 11 of 12 hits, fantastic. Trolls are usually fairly tough, but where power 6 against defense 5, they just die. Troll's special move is their regeneration, which allows them to regenerate wounds, but that doesn't really apply when they all die in 1 round of combat. Benefits of out-positioning the enemy. So you can do that, and then we can recharge this. Don't send the bats into the front. There's a number of reasons that would be terrible. 1 is that they would all die, and 2 is that they would contribute so much combat resolution to the enemy they would probably win, despite the fact they wouldn't ever touch my vampires back here. There's nothing I can really do. I can't reanimate, everyone's at full HP, so there's nothing for you to do. So I'll get the bat out of the way. Just in case this unit holds on, I can smash, they'll turn around and I can then recharge them with Dread Knights. So this is the only threat to me. I might lose some bats, but otherwise we'll be okay. 3 wounds, very good. They hit them only once, fantastic, we got away with it. They can't kill one. Any wounds you take that don't actually outright kill a model effectively don't count. You just heal that wound back for free. So as long as we don't lose a guy, we're good. They break, not surprising. This will probably break over here. We've actually entered a duel. So this is when 2 enemy lords get into the same combat, they enter 1-on-1. So their individual stat lines do actually matter now. We've recharged them, but despite the fact that it will still be a duel, unless there was so many guys that they can't reach, so there was enough guys to fill a 3rd rank, they can reach each other, so they are going to enter glorious 1-on-1 combat, Seraphina and Korgak. So we go first, simultaneously. Better skill, better at fighting, so hit on 3+. 2 hits, power 5, because we charge against defense 5, we do 2 wounds. Korgak's got 1 left. Korgak hits back twice. We have superior defense, because we're defense 6 with our heavy armor and shield. Power 5, so 3+. I take 1 wound, 2 to 1. We came out ahead. And the Skeleton Knights hit the unit for free. Good hits. They've got good armor, but probably not enough to change the outcome. They break. Orcs in general, so when you're facing them, they have good stats in terms of power and defense. Their attacks are pretty good, but woeful discipline. So if you can get into their rear and they can't do anything back, they're almost certainly going to break. You'll notice that they didn't pass a single discipline check that turn. An upgrade for Seraphina, so 5% is 5% extra on this, which is pretty minuscule. You usually don't bother with that unless you're going for like max gold. These are much better. So an extra attack is an extra attack. Or Recruiter, so when you purchase a new unit at the shop, they immediately come out with an extra level. Levels in SOVL are fantastic increases in terms of units effectiveness, so much so that I would prefer to use her as a kind of commander than an individual combatant. I really like Recruiter. And her accompanying Skeleton Knights leveled. Gold for extra loot, so whenever you press the button you get 5 more. Crumble, we haven't seen it yet. When an undead, a reanimated unit loses a combat, they don't roll the usual break test like everyone else, rather, because they don't run away. They're fearless, they're undead, what are they going to be scared of? Instead they roll a crumble check, so they just lose 1 to 3 extra guys or wounds. So if I did lose a combat, I would lose 1 less than normal. You don't really want to be playing the game in such a way that you're sustaining losses and losing combat, so that only comes up if your things are going terribly wrong, so we'll leave that. It's a choice between either the gold or the skill, and I am using them as a damage dealer, so going from skill 3 to 4 is a very nice point where it's great against enemy skill 3 stuff, you can hit them effectively, and enemy skill 4 stuff at least can't hit you quite as well. So good offensively and defensively. Otherwise, I think everyone's perfectly happy where they are, so take gold all around. And we go to a campsite, so we're not going to get anything here, but just more guys and some XP. No gold here, I'm afraid. I could, in theory, heal that Dreadnought up to 8, but that doesn't really add. It adds a single attack, so the point of experience is probably worth more than that. The Withered Monstrosity is leveled. extra skill, extra attack, extra wounds. Okay, going from wounds 8 to 9 is a bit redundant. That's kind of, it's not going to make any difference. So it's either the skill or attacks. Ordinarily, I'd say the skill is better than not in terms of dealing damage. It depends. But going from skill 2 to 3 still realistically means you're hitting practically everything on the game on 4+. You only get to hit on 3+ if you have a higher skill than the enemy. The giant would only have a higher skill against anything that's skill 2, which is almost nothing. Skill 2 is the purview of extremely poor units, so with him I'm actually just going to go with the attack. Yep. Perfect, so we're now even healthier. I can't stretch them out any further, so we have our ablative extra knights at the back here, but never mind, they will suffice. Another elite. Excellent for gold generation. I'm going first, okay. They will likely have something shooting at us in the back that we're going to want to contend with as fast as possible, so if it's on the flanks, maybe I'll have one bat on this. It'll probably be here, likely not tucked away, so there. Maybe one bat, you there to tank shots in case there's anything shooting at you. You on that flank, and then you kind of here to separate just in case there's anything in the way. Yes, there's a nasty cannon. We want to get something onto that as fast as possible. It's going to shoot at us. Cannons are particularly devastating to us because of their lethal shots ability. So any wounds they inflict counters 2. They're going to be really bad. So anything they hit immediately blows up to the knight or even does a lot of damage to our zombie giant. Despite that, I am going to put the zombie giant in front because there's no way the cannon can kill it in one hit. So if it does shoot something, I would want it to be our poor withered monstrosity here. So take the bait. They'll come forward. I can probably fly the bats and hit it. I can move these into their flank, I hope. I'm going to move this not too far forward because the further forward I move, the less this will move, so it makes it hard for me to outposition. So go forward just enough so that I'm the closest thing to the cannon and hope to get targeted. Yep, forward they come. Great, that's a trivial flank charge now. I will eventually move the bat to get to there and hit it, but I can't do that now because if I did it first, target the bat and basically one-shot them. So we'll leave that on the table. Rather have the Dread Knights come barreling around here. Shot the giant, fantastic. So he gets 1 to 3 shots. He got 2, so 2 hits. Double wound skull there. It's power 8, the cannon, which is incredible. So even the defense 6 of my giant saving 5+, I take 2, so I take 4 wounds. Ouch. That is probably the best outcome for us, realistically speaking. So now we're safe. We can fly the bats over. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit picky about how I do this. I'll just get to there. Obviously I can see there and hit it because it was able to see us and shoot us, so we must be able to reach. It's going to make the charge for my... Can I go up? Let's be a bit clever. Can I go up and do it around here instead? Yes, I can. Perfect. Well, can I see it? I might be stuck on the... Okay, I can definitely see it. Just want to make sure I can see it. So now it's a flank charge, which is great. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't interrupting the charge of my knights in a moment here. They've done nothing to stop me from getting to there, which is appreciated. Yeah, in we go into their flank. Gotcha. I mean, shooting the Shadow Bolt into that is almost irrelevant, so I'll Shadow Bolt this just to increase the odds of my bats killing it in a turn. I don't want them stuck there on it realistically. Or not, makes every save. And then these bats just stand here and I can't get over them to engage that, so just continue to distract these melee blocks. Okay, so they're going to charge us, but we can obviously do something about that, so no more cannon fire, and we can intercept this irritating unit of Imperial Knights. No charges here. If I twisted there, I might have actually got a free rear flank charge. I anticipated they'd just blithely march forward. Forward they come. Well, I can easily reach the side of the giant now. And they're going to come over here to pester you. Slightly annoying. I would have liked to get a side charge. So how do I kind of orchestrate it? Well, I could easily get the bats into either a rear or side. So what I could do in theory, I could put the giant into the side and the bat into the back and break them. That's worth it. So I can get to there and I might be able to turn enough to pull this off. Yes, I can. So there you go. Yeah, that's pretty good. Both sides there, and then you can just do not engage the halberdiers. So halberdiers have a special property that makes them super effective at dealing with cavalry and elite monsters. So if I hover over them, damage saves against this weapon are never better than 4+. So unlike all other weapons which are maybe add power, add defense, like the swords or the great weapons, whenever they come up against the enemy, no matter how good your defense is, you'll never get a better save than a 4+, so they're specifically anti-elite, kill the big thing stuff, so don't engage them with your elites. Nothing to shoot, I can't use Unholy Vigor in combat, and everyone's full HP, so nothing to reanimate, so just get into fighting, Seraphina. Here we go. Can you defeat a cannon? You only hit a woeful 3 times, doing 1 wound. Hits back once, does no damage, fine. Now if it breaks... Oh, it holds, okay, maybe I'll demonstrate that later. There you go, Seraphina's going to start hitting the knights. 3 hits, fantastic. Equal power to defense, they save every time, they've got good armor, we might be here a while. Good hits from our skeleton knights, dealing 4 wounds, they get 4 attacks back, 1 hit, dealing no, scrape the wound by 5, not bad. It's enough to break them, off the field they go. There goes the enemy's most powerful unit. Just here, so into the back, into the side, and you just hold their attention. Captain has used the Inspire Valor ability. Von Platen's trying to cheer on her men. +1's combat score. Don't particularly see it making a difference. Best case scenario is they hold when they otherwise should break. I might as well use Unholy Vigor on myself now. I'm not going anywhere else. I trust the battle will eventually prevail over here. I'm going to leave them to it. So yeah, next turn I'll be able to get into their back. Again, just drag the halberdiers around or something. Don't engage them. Can't actually go that way. You have to go this way. Which is a tad annoying because they're going to move like that, which makes getting to their rear arc a touch harder. Here we go again. Still below average hit roll. Giving it another wound, 1 at a time. 2 hits. Wow, the cannon crew beat me in a fight. And I ran. That's embarrassing, bats. Okay, I'm going to have to do something about that now. The captain, the giant, squashes 1. So it has the putrid stench ability, so whenever they try and hit us, if they succeed, they're forced to roll again. So they got 2 hits, was then reduced to 1 hit. I'm defense 6 against power 3, so they're not going to do a whole lot to me unless I roll a 1. Yeah, I'm fine. And the bats go in, doing another 2, so they just lose. They hold, but they can't. The benefit to engaging from multiple flanks is that they can't turn and face you, they get stuck there. It counts as a flank charge, so I won't be able to do that, so they're just stuck here. That cannon might shoot me now, it's going to be a bit annoying. No, it's turned and faced the wrong unit, fantastic. Phew. And I'll use you to come up here and charge it. What I can do is I can reanimate my poor giant and put its wounds back. Okay, well you're going to be stuck playing Ring Around the Roses with this for a while. I suppose I could take a... No, don't get stuck in the woods, it's going to slow you down too much. Start coming around them here. Von Platen's trying to hit my giant. Hits once. A wound. Fine. Stomp back. 1 hit. Stamping on a swordman. They get 1 hit. No wounds. And then the bats will probably win it for us. By 3. You see a little calculation there. Flanks, rear kills. They've had enough. Now I could charge them again, but I'm just going to ignore them for now because they may keep running. I'll let them figure out how they want to handle this. They're still after us. Who can I get into their back? Might as well Unholy Vigor this unit to speed things up. They rally, so they have returned to combat, so I'll have to do something about that. I don't want to engage anything from the front, that'd be a terrible idea, but I could hit them from both sides. I can't engage anything here because then the halberds would catch you. Which would be a bit silly, wouldn't it? Can't get to their side with this unit, so it's going to be you and you again. I guess I'll just have you over here. Okay, giant, come here and hit them in the side, please. Can't quite see them there, just go. That wood is what's getting in my way. And now I can see them, and the majority of the giants in that side arc, so we've got them. Back to go into the back again. Alright, better luck against the cannon, I presume, with the whole squadron of knights. We still need a single wood. What on earth is going on? This cannon is absolutely tearing us apart. You will eventually be defeated. 13th Windmere guns. What are you doing? Just crushing my army single-handedly. Yeah, from over here, they don't reach anything, which you don't care about. Eventually this unit will be gone. You just keep trying to get around and get to somewhere useful. Now, I do have another reanimate. I could use it on the giant. But there's a reason I'm not going to. I'm going to leave the giant as he is, rather I'm just going to take the... I'll have my skeleton knight back, thanks. Do better this time. 1 wound from Seraphina, and they kill it. There you go, that's more no wounds this time. That's more of a standard way that would go. There you go, so that Von Platen's hitting my giant monstrosity. There's a wound again. Giant, 2 hits, 1 wound. Swordsman hit twice, dealing nothing, and the bats do 2 wounds. So we break them again, but they might hold on. Yeah, they hold, okay. So it's really Von Platen's the one who's doing all the damage, but I'm not that concerned. Right, let's try and get around this guy. They've moved to there, but he can't charge anything from there because that doesn't count as... That counts as a front charge on the bats and then already engaged, so that can't help you. We'll come around here and eventually go on to them. Start, yeah, Shadow Bolt them, reduce their numbers. 2 less halberdiers. Platen again, hits once, doing nothing this time. 4 hits from the giant, much better. No damage from the swordsman. The bats eat 1. Just by a whole bunch again. So they can charge me now, but it will be the bats, so I can just run them away. They're the one unit I can flee with, which is fantastic news for me. No way you want the bats to take that head on, that'd be suicidal. So they get stuck on their own unit there awkwardly. They fail to rally, don't worry about those. Now because I fled from charge, they are stuck this turn, they can't do anywhere. So we're free to just walk up on them. They will be forced to make a decision here and face one of these units, so someone is going to get a rear charge in them next turn. There's nothing they can do about it. Eliminating halberdiers with Shadow Bolt, why not? We're out of range, don't worry about it. Try and rally the bats. They don't, fine. Don't need them. They've done their job admirably. Make your move, halberdiers. Where are you going to go? Nowhere, apparently. Fine. We'll just take this free rear charge then. So it took a lot of turns of manoeuvring, but eventually the Dread Knights did get into their back arc. Failed to rally, so they run off the board, and there's quite literally nothing else to do. The bats are absolutely not interested. They're definitely running away. Just stand there and look pretty, guys. The enemy are routing this turn, so they're taking so much morale damage they'll give up. So as long as they don't do any damage to us, we win regardless, but I might as well charge them to prevent my zombie giant from taking any wounds. So we do a load and just press. I'm holding spacebar to make this go faster. There's no need to watch this through, we've already won. Now the reason I healed the knights, not the giant, is that we're down to 5. However, the zombie giant will always heal 1 at each turn, so I knew it'd go up to 6. 6 is more than combat viable for a zombie giant, so I'll just leave him there. Bats leveled again. I'll take the extra. Ooh, but the extra side. So the extra attack will give you. Well, obviously you'll go from 6 attacks to 9 attacks. Whereas you go with unit size, you'll go from 6 attacks to 8 attacks. So technically, this is a bit better. So the unit's still nice and in terms of damage output. So the unit's still nice and small. You can still get around and maneuver things, and you've got more actual potency in combat, so that's good. And here, you've already got the attack, so you can take the skill for more damage output. That's not a bad idea. I've lost one, actually. Let's do this. Let's take the unit size, go up to 4, and I can heal 2 to go up to a maximum of 4. So there you go, maxed out. Knights, I'm not going to be able to really benefit from more unit size. Well, I guess I could take that and just keep replenish spamming them and go up and up and up until I get to like 10, 11 Dread Knights. Crumble rolls are terrible, so it's just a choice between these two, which both aren't great. So yeah, I might as well just take this. Just keep adding Dread Knights. You'll find everyone. I'm just going to take gold. So you get a 100% bonus for the elite, which is nice. Yeah, we have another standard battle. So they're now oriented like that, which is a bit silly. Let's stretch out, guys. There you go. So I guess the ideal number would be 12 in that case. Good. So I go to another battle against the Elf Patrol. So a very rapid, fast-moving force, rivaling our own speedy guys. I'm going first. I'd rather they go first if it's Elf Patrol, but fine. So they usually like to pack stuff on one side, so presumably they'll be put the Dread Knights and Giant in the centre so they can flank things. You can be there to distract, and I don't know, just struggling for space at this point, honestly. Something like that. Yeah, so elf lancers, heavy cav, elf reavers, light cav with bows, and then a chariot. I have to go first, which is annoying, so I guess I would want to go with a unit that can run away. So if they're going to come forward and shoot my bats, they could kill one, which is a bit annoying. I can't really stop it. I'd love to unholy vigor these and get them into the flank, but that would require using a unit, which is a deal. So I guess I'll put these bats further forward and distract that chariot. Not too far forward though. Just far enough so it targets us and then I can flank it. Or they come to shoot us. 2 hits, that's enough to kill a bat. I roll 1 save, that's all I needed. Excellent work, bats. Okay, so they're going to come to here and probably lock onto the giant, which is fine, but it depends how far they go. So I'll just move the bats away for now. I have no interest in engaging these in combat. I can't quite escape because I've got a bit too much movement, so I'm just going to have to stand here and wait for the next turn, I guess. Can't twist around, so you're fine where you are. Good, I know where they've all settled. Okay, so let's do this now. I'll go ahead and unholy vigor my dread knights for speed. And these are the unit I want to smash into the lancers. They're going to come trundling forward, which might be a bit awkward because I don't know where they're going to land. So I hope they go after the bats, in which case I can just do this and intercept them. Just make sure I'm close enough to catch them wherever they wind up there. Probably a bit more movement than that. Probably good enough. No, okay, so they got me there, so I have to flee the bats away. Fine, you can catch them later. And you start your long trek to get around the side here. Next turn. I don't want being engaged by that. It'll actually take a lot of damage. That will probably mean those bats are going to get shot again and I'm going to lose one, but I can't get the giant or anything onto the reavers this turn. So flee. When I flee, the chariot will get out of position, so the bats take no damage and effectively fulfill their role of getting them to run away. What I could have done, which is really difficult to figure out in advance, I could have intentionally left the bats in their charge range, and then when they charged me, fled, so I didn't have to take any more damage, but I didn't consider that. I just wanted to get out of the way of their charging. Nope, they chose to go for another unit, which is my highly durable dread knights, and do nothing. Well, I'm not going to stop you guys. Can I get over the other side of them, do you think? I'm pretty quick, but maybe not be that quick. I can get to there, but I can't turn around and hit them. I guess I could change tack, so you could hit these, and you could come over. Oh, I can't quite escape their charge radius. They're positioned quite well there. I might have to take them on from the front. Or I guess I could ignore these, put the giant into that flank, and put these into this flank. Just kill them from both sides. As long as it is a flank charge. Not there, obviously. We need to do better than that. Go right out here. Twist them before. No, it's definitely a flank, isn't it? I could even reach them if they stay still. They won't. Right away. Okay. How do I handle this well? You can easily. I'll go ahead and holy vigor this. So it gets back to the chariot. Perfect. We've been outflanked. And then my giant here. Have a tweak around here. I'd love for you to. I don't know if I'll be able to do. I don't know if I can fit there to technically do that charge. I might get blocked by the fact it will tell me that there's no viable path to targets. I do still have the battlefield. I forgot about that. I guess for now your job will be distracting the lancers so they don't come bother something else. Can I do this? So no, can't fit in base contact, so I can't hit them to intercept them. So this will be head on. I can reanimate the dread knights if I take any damage, so that's no issue. Very good. Otherwise I'll just win. It's light cav versus outnumbered, very heavy cavalry. Your turn to face the bats, which is exactly what I wanted them to do. We can start kind of just deal with them in case they hold. Nothing else to do really. Don't need unholy vigor or anything. And the bats, of course, just get out of the way. Don't be there to be killed. So, well out of their range. Here we go. So they're going to hit us 4 times. Give them 3 wounds. I can put those back. I do a lot more to you than me, and you run away. How surprising. And over here, Seraphina's hitting the chariot once, dealing a wound, and the accompanying skeleton knights do 2 wounds. You lose, you can't hit back, you run. Even with good discipline the elves have, taking a rear charge and a load of damage is usually a bit much for them. That's a free rear charge into the lancers, fantastic. They don't rally, they keep running because they're cowards. Let's go ahead and put my injured Dread Knight back. You heal D3 plus 1, so I healed 4, which is enough to max me out. Can't reach that, so I mean they're going to run off the field probably anyway, but we put the giant there. And if by some miracle this unit happens to hold on, we could try and move these here to hit them in the back if they turn around. I would be surprised, I'll be honest. Bad hit roll because we have equal skill, but we do 5 wounds for nothing in return. They do, well done. That's actually kind of good for me because now I can heal my giant up to 4 with another reanimate. I might in exchange take damage on the Dread Knights if I'm unlucky. I'm not going to have any opportunity to heal them again, so I'm just going to lose them. Although there is a campsite directly after this, isn't there? So I'll just get them back for free. That's it. Might as well make you max HP. There you go. And just done. The rest, there's nothing else you can do. Lackluster there. Oh yeah, I do lose 1 because they rolled just enough to get me last. And they hold on again. This is really persistent. Well done. The elite of the Elven forces here doing their best to not change the outcome and die anyway. Doesn't help that we're not rolling there. Yeah, it's a slightly better roll. 1 wound, so I don't lose the extra on, which is what I was really dreading, but got away with it. So I lost a knight for my troubles. Okay, so you've leveled again. Another point in recruiter, so when I'm going to buy a unit in the shop, I can immediately go up to level 2, which is great. So we've maxed out recruiter now, I can't do any more points for that. We will focus on our actual combat expertise later. And the skeleton knights accompanying her could also take more of them. Even more skeleton knights. Yeah, go on then. We'll heal at the campsite for free, so you might as well make use of the extra scale. So we'll go up to 9 at the campsite, and then she's 10. So honestly, I think we'll leave that. So that's gold, gold. I have a solution for the Dread Knights. So I'm going to take gold on them, because I think I can get them up to full HP without even needing to do anything else. Ooh. Interesting. So Skeleton Knights are Skeleton Knights, obviously we've got less but a Bone Dragon, so it still counts as melee, it's hypermobile, so that will count, so I think it's within the spirit of things, and it's the discounted unit, so yeah, go on, we'll have an upgraded Bone Dragon, thank you. Skill 5 to Skill 6 is a pretty niche upgrade, I'm going to be honest. That would only help you when you encounter enemy Skill 5 stuff, which is rare, so I think I'll just go with the Looter, because I'm going to be pressing gold on it basically every time. And even more Looter, why not? Okay. We have a money-making dragon with us apparently. 185 left for upgrades, which is really good because there's a lot of ones I want. Lance and Shield and Curse Standard are all excellent for my Dread Knight and Knight units. True Strike is great for Seraphina, and Plate Barding is basically non-optional for the dragon because the dragon starts at Defense 5, which is pretty poor Doomscale there. Going from 5 to 6 is an amazing breakpoint because it means all enemy power 3 stuff hitting into you gets saved on 2s. You only take wounds on 1s, so it's super durable against small stuff. And then big stuff, power 4, power 5, you still get a 3-up save, so really, really good for defense. Power 6 stuff's pretty rare to come across. So you could get, I'd love the Boulder Throw and the Giant, but that's not really a top priority relative to some of this other stuff. I'd like all of those upgrades on the Forsaken Regiment. I'd like both of those. I only have 185 to play with, so I'm going to have to make some sacrifices here. Plate Barding on a Dragon is not optional, it just makes it super viable, so that's 150 to play with. I could buy both Curse Standards, leaving me with 50, and then one of the Lance and Shield upgrades. Lance and Shield is nice because I think it's better on the Skeleton Knights than the Dread Knights because they're already defense 5, so they'll go up to, the only difference is that they're power 3. It's a flat upgrade because the +1 defense from the shield stays the same, but the charge bonus of the lance is +2 as opposed to +1, so it's just a flat upgrade. With the great weapons, it's a little bit more nuanced because you lose the permanent power you get from the great weapon. So on the charge, the great weapons are 6. On the chance, the lance is also 6. So you think, well, what's the point in the upgrade? You're spending 40 points to be exactly where you are. In fact, you're spending 40 points to technically downgrade yourself, because in the first round of combat, you'll be the same power, but in the subsequent round, when you lose the charge bonus, you actually drop power. So why do you want the lance? Because the lance makes you defense 6, which again, for the reasons I just pointed out, is amazing. The Dread Knight ability, when it gets up to defense 6, is obscenely durable, but it's more, there's no costs to doing with the Skeleton Knights, it's pure profit. So I'm going to take it on them first. So we'll take curse standards on both of them, because +1 attack for 1 turn is a super melee upgrade. That's great. And then I get the choice of 1 lance and shield for my Grim Walkers here. Good. There's even more upgrades we could have, but we can pick them up later. We're going to heal our guys up even more. The zombie giant will level, which is cool. I mean, just in case, if I encounter enemy skill 3 stuff, it makes it harder for them to hit me, I guess. So he can take more damage more reliably. Having this better, loot is probably the way to go, but let's just use him in combat, why not? Nothing else will level off of this, so it's just a case of your full HP, take XP. I don't think I need to bother healing these, because I have another solution, so just take your experience while you can. It's good. Can I stretch units out at all? 9 Skeleton Knights, not bad. And then can't go out any further, you're good, so face the Act 1 boss. Prince Ias, Elves. So a mixture of range, some fast stuff, some melee stuff. I'm going first, so there is going to be some annoying shooting at the back we want to get to quickly. Putting the fail bats here so they can fly over wouldn't be a terrible idea. The giant and dragon will be our primary tanking units, because they're tougher than anything else. They're excellent at that, so just make sure they're in front. You go down the flank and you kind of accompany him, so you make sure you're taking the majority of hits there for anything on this side. Something like that. Right, so they have Elf Watchers, which is a ranged unit there you want to get charged. The Bolt Thrower, which is obviously horrendous for us in terms of damage output, so yeah, again, we'll put you onto that as fast as possible. I would love to get the Knights into their flank, but I'm not going to be able to quite manage it. It's going to have to be the Bats, who aren't going to break them. What I could do is I could put the Bats here, intentionally bait the Knights into charging them, flee, and then get a good charge into the side with my Skeleton Knights. That's probably a good way of handling that, so yeah, let's do that. Again, I want to make sure that this isn't shooting anything annoying, so let's put the giant the closest target to it. Will obviously be reached by those, which is a tad annoying, but what are we going to do about that? Oh no, he actually blocked the line of sight to the giant, so now it can't be targeted by the bolt thrower. Oops, okay, someone else is going to have to take the damage. You will eventually fly over and kill it, but I can't do that this turn. Oh, I can't actually reach this turn, I don't think I have the movement. I'm going to get stuck on the terrain piece. Well, maybe that's doable. I'll see. I won't do it now, but I think I'll just about get away with it. Let's put the bats up here so they take the charge into you. Like so, please. So you'll charge there. I'll put them right on the side so they come this way, making it easy to flank them. So they're shooting the bone giant. I'll take 2 wounds. Sorry, the bone dragon. They've now fired. I can't send the bat over yet because they'll get killed by the spearmen. I need them to move first. But the presumption here is that they'll go after them, so I'm just going to move you to get into a more useful position later. Watchers are now shooting my poor bone dragon, but I'm defense 6 now, so save on 2+. Look at all. If I didn't buy plate barding, I would have just taken 3 wounds. What a good ability that is. 35 gold for an insane damage reduction increase. Thank you kindly. Okay, these are going to start coming forward. Don't get into combat yet though. Good. I'm almost safe to move him to there, but not quite yet. I want to use the dragon, of course, to get onto that annoying arch unit in the back, but I need to see where they land. So, using this as a benchmark, I can tell they can get to about there. I suspect they won't come after the bats, and if they do, I can then engage them in the back with my bone dragon. So let's do this now. I can make it to hit them. Fantastic. And they've moved into a silly position there, giving me exactly what I want, which is putting you up to here. Now I can use reanimate later to regenerate some wounds on my poor bone dragon, so this turn you're better off doing damage. So let's flamethrower. We have fire breath. Somehow a bone dragon can produce fire. It's magic fire, don't question it. And I don't need more speed, we're fine, and so I might as well just kill them while I can with magic Bolt. Oh, 2 left, so only 5 left, so they're going to do even less to me in combat. They move just sort of forward. Oh, that's annoying. They didn't take the bait. Fine, I'll have to intercept them with the bats rather than engaging them normally. You kill that for me. They're going to go after the giant. I can intercept them with those and then hit them with the bats as well. Let's game out. How much damage would I take? Well, if I went in, they wouldn't be able to charge because I'm going to end up intercepting them. The bats would be perfectly safe because they can't hit them. They'd be going all into the skeleton knights because they'll go forward. So they'll do 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 attacks. Skill 4, they'll hit on 4, so they get 6 hits. There'll be power 3 against defense 5. I'll have a 3 upside. I take an average of 2 wounds, which I can easily heal with reanimate. So yes, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to crush them. Everyone else is basically fine. Yep. They're going to skip past them, which is great news for me. We'll use the curse standard right now, so they're not going to be stuck with this unit. Inch forward towards these. I don't particularly care. Let's use this unit to stall. Do I want to reanimate my... Let's save it, because I might take damage in the fight, which I can then reanimate to go up to full. So if you know you're going to be in a battle, you might want to hold onto your regen to after, so you get all your wounds back. Whereas if I did it now, got to 7, and then took a wound, I'd drop it a bit after the minute. So yeah, just hold on to it. Interesting, they're trying to turn and deal with my bone dragon, which would be annoying. I'm not going to let you do that, so I'm just going to put these into their back. I assume if I can get there, I might not be able to quite manage. It might be a flank charge rather than a rear. See what I can do in terms of position here. I can get to there, so I'm safe with them, and I'm definitely in the back. Perfect. And then you, I don't know. Presumably the bat. I'm just concerned, so I can do this no problem. What scares me is that this unit will be free to pursue them, and then I can't run. So I'm going to get hit in the back up probably, so I need something around here to intercept them, which could be the giant, and I think it will be because he's not going to contribute anything over here. These units can tie that up no problem. Maybe one of the bats, maybe the bone dragon, we'll see. Now historically we have a bad record dealing with artillery with bats. Let's see how we do. We kill it in 1 this turn, there you go, for nothing. That's more consistent. Seraphina killing some backline archers, or not. Fine, we'll leave it to Doomscale to do the damage. There you go, I took a wound, so holding on to reanimate might pay off here. And the true combat, knights versus knights. Okay, so we use curse standard, so we've got 3 attacks each for the front right now, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21. Hitting on 4s, that should be what, 11 and a 10 and a half hits on average. 11 hits, there you go, perfectly average. And they save kind of average as well, there you go. They hit kind of 1 less. I take my 2 wounds as calculated. And bats contribute a bit of damage for our combat res, which is good. Hopefully enough to break them in the turn. Gotcha. They stay on the field, so I may have to hit them again, we'll see. Absolutely not, we can intercept them there. Nothing much going on here. I'll leave those for the time being because I'm more scared about that spearman unit and what this is going to do. Well, okay, so they've made it trivial for me to hit them in the back and break them with the skeleton knights. They've ignored you and opted for this one. Well, if you insist, I guess I don't mind. Use this now to chop through them. It's going to be even more brutal with the Dread Knights. They have rallied, you would expect they would. Who's got more attacks? Well, you do because of the higher numbers, so let's move back to here and put them in the back again. So I'm not touched by them. I can just about see the unit. Might as well make it a bit safer. See if you can break them. Here, well, we know that this is going to hit them, so do I want to send the bats to their side? They'll probably take unnecessary damage, so there's not much point. I'll move them over there in case they need help later. And you can stay. This is obviously not going to come to anything over here because they made a bad move with those spears, so just hang around here, and if they stay on, recharge them later on as well. Alright, you reanimate now. I think you could put one of those back, you could heal yourself. I think I'll heal myself because realistically if I take 1 wound I'll automatically heal that at the end of the phase anyway, so I should be okay. I expect it to go up to full HP, but I was a bit unlucky. Seraphina still fails to kill them, it's tragic, but we get them all. I take an extra wound, that's a shame. Okay, so I'm going to be 6 of 7 at the end, that's tolerable. This is going to be pretty good for us, I suspect. Yep. Start collapsing on them. Recharge here. Recharge here. Don't do that now, because if you did it now, their attacks would be into the bats, whereas if I wait, they hold their turn, then I can do it and not risk taking huge casualties. I'll let these potentially flee on their own, so I'll just see how that goes. I have to go first. Okay, well, you can just stand there and stare at them. They're going to face me, that's not a problem. You can also stand there and stare at them. They do rally, so I have to do something about that. Well, go back again. And I'll have you come over here, start reducing these numbers. And also be in a good position to... I won't reanimate this turn because they're liable. If they don't take damage, then I can, I'll be safe. If they do, I'm better off waiting until they take all the damage and then heal them at the end. So, do some DPS here. Shoot them, as well as we can get ourselves in a position to charge this if they need the help. Which, we're already there. Okay, I'm really hoping the bats and the night fangs here break them before they can turn around and start hitting them. 2 wounds isn't great, we kind of didn't expect a lot and I've got good discipline. Yeah, they hold, I saw that coming. I'll have to charge in there with the dragon. I'm gonna lose some bats, but that's okay. Kill a bunch of sword masters, they can't hit back. They run, fantastic. Like these, rear these. Just do it again. Well, you're kind of risking them. But again, you're better off always just allowing the enemy to fail the break test and run. If they pass it, you can then take the rear charge anyway. You aren't going to catch me there. I don't know why you're trying. Let's do this instead. They do rally. They've got really good discipline, so more often than not they will. But it's worth a try to break them. Put the giant into their side. It's not really a huge point, but okay. And then. Again, I'll hold on to that because they might take damage. We've got plenty of time before this combat ends. If you just want to distract these for me, that would be appreciated. Alright, let's lose some bats. It's going to be unfortunate. 2 wounds, which is good. Take 2 wounds. So they would have actually tied combat on their own. Impressive, bats. These are the ones with 3 wounds. Is that what they're doing so well? Here, no care standard this time. But we do just about as well. They roll remarkably well for their discipline, but with only a couple guys, this is where being defense 6 on the Dread Knights will actually be better, because they'd be helplessly bouncing off of our 2+ armor, but we might actually take some damage as a consequence. Into the rear. Go with a monstrosity there, turning to face. We don't really care, do we? Just get around them. Roasting the whip with the dragon. And eventually I'll get a recharge them with someone. Ready to Unholy Vigour. Gonna hold on to my reanimate for the moment. I've still got another turn to make a decision. I've obviously got to use it before the battle ends, so just as long as they aren't routing this turn, you're fine. Okay, you're fine, and you're fine to stand there and stare at them. Yeah, see if I lose any Dread Knights to this. I do, because of the unfortunate roll. So I might heal them instead, and the Skeleton Knights. Break, despite taking very little damage, it's a bit embarrassing. I think engaging in further combat is pointless. The enemy is just going to give up and run away without me doing anything. I'm just risking extra wounds for no reason. So they will be dead due to Dragonfire, and then I'll have my Dread Knight back rather than the Skeleton Knight. They're much harder, they're more difficult to replenish the Dread Knights, which is why I'm prioritising them. They rally, but we're never going to get to fighters, ignore them. I could recharge them and try and break them, but they could turn around and hurt me, so why take the risk? Routing this turn, so just hammer spacebar, skip all of this stuff. There's literally nothing that's going to happen. I could cook and kill that spearman, but let's leave the one guy alive. You tell all the others what happened. Victory achieved. Act 1 complete. Excellent work, everyone. So we lost a bat and a knight, so let's level these. More attacks on the bats, thank you very much. And the bats again, more attacks, don't mind if I do. And the Dread Knights, extra skill. Skill 4 to skill 5 is good. Now that we're in the Act 2, we're going to get into the stage of the campaign. We'll be facing a lot of stuff that's skill 4, so good time to go up to skill 5. Everyone else is okay. 8 of 10 is perfectly fine, 8 of 11 is perfectly fine. You're healthy, you're healthy, you're healthy. I would like the bats back because they're worth a lot and they're not really consistent enough if they're not at full strength. Yeah, I mean, we've done it. Alright, so obviously we'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Next time we'll slam into the much more difficult Act 2 and we'll start navigating our way through. If you like that, please do like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and I do appreciate it. We're coming along nicely with the channel's growth. It means a lot to me. If you have any notes on the SOVL run or more importantly ideas for thematic campaigns you'd like to see, we're probably going to start cutting through the maxed ranks difficulty campaign, so if there's particular characters you'd want to see how I handle that with, then by all means to leave suggestions. I'm always open to them. I stop and read all the comments, so if you leave anything it definitely will be seen, or if you just want to chat with me and others, that's great too. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.